Well, all right. It is a beautiful, beautiful night for some enjoyable live music, some 330 favorites, some Greater Ohio favorites here in the Studio C facilities at the radio station. Studio C on the Summit FM, made possible by Wayside Furniture and Blind and Sons, and longtime favorite in our area. Let's welcome JD Eicher. Hello, JD.
Thank you.
We got the whole trio. The JD Eicher trio is here. Introduce these other fellas, if you would.
Yeah, I got Dylan Colat on the drums.
Hello, Dylan.
And we usually try not to introduce him, but tonight we will. Jim Murhut on bass.
Hi, Jim. Well, good. We'll talk about 20 years of the JD Eicher experience. Let's get started with a song. Which one do you want to do first today?
I thought we'd do a song called Aaron. It's one of the first that the Summit played of ours.
Yes.
Yeah, so kicking off
JD
with this.
Eicher here in Studio C.
Sad songs, and in the back on the rack there's an old guitar with a few good strings. He stays and he plays until it's dark, and he always sings. I don't like sad songs, they just seem to find me. I've been standing still and I feel a little restless now. Here for years and now I fear there's no way out. Holding on to something that just holds me down. And I don't know, no, I don't know if this is me. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at the bar, trying to feel less hollow. He skips the booze for the back hallway and the old piano. It's 2 a.m., the barroom's all spilled out. It's just him and the owner, and the man says, Aaron, why the sad ones now? Aaron shrugs his shoulders. I don't like sad songs, they just seem to write me. I've been standing still and I feel a little restless now. Here for years and now I fear there's no way out. Holding on to something that just holds me down. And I don't know, no, I don't know if this is me. Well, they say life's a little sweeter for the struggle is. I can't seem to care what they say. Life's a little sweeter for the struggle is. I can't seem to care what they say. I've been standing still and I feel a little restless now. Here for years and now I fear there's no way out. Holding on to something that just holds me down. Holding on to something that just holds me down. Well, I'm done holding on to something that just holds me down. 'Cause I don't know, no, I don't know if this is me. Thanks. Thank you.
Well, how great to welcome back JD Eicher to Studio C here on the Summit FM. Yeah, that song is called Aaron. That's one of the earlier songs. JD, congrats on 20th anniversary, 20
Thanks.
years of doing this thing. How about that?
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
So,
It's
yeah,
strange.
Well, and first off, we definitely need to mention the anniversary show that happens Friday, like this Friday, out at the Rialto Theater on Akron's Kenmore Boulevard. It'll be your trio, plus another guy we've interviewed in the past, Jesse Rubin, is doing some touring with you right now.
Yeah, Jesse will be on this show. Actually, we just did a whole run through New York City and Philly and DC this past weekend, acoustic, and so he's going to come out and support the band this coming weekend. We also have Angie Hayes on that show as well.
And our friend Angie Hayes, yes. Yeah, very good. So how does it feel doing the music touring and writing and being a creator, being an artist for 20 years now?
I feel like we're getting away with something. Honestly, it feels very lucky, frankly, to be still doing it. Yeah. Truly.
Well, and how long has this core trio been kind of doing? It's been a few years now.
I was trying to think of that. I think Dylan's the newest member, but new by 2012. So yeah, maybe 13ish years, give or take.
Yeah.
So we've been together for a long time.
Yeah. Well, and you're working towards a new studio album as well. Talk a little about that process.
Yeah, we decided for this next project that we do it all ourselves, kind of in-house, which has been really fun because you have all the time in the world, to experiment and try things and toss things and try new things. And so I built a small, simple studio in my house, and the guys come out every other month, something like that, and stay over. I make eggs in the morning, and then we track rhythm section.
Yeah.
And then they head home, and I keep layering onto it and building it. It's been really fun. It's tricky when you do it in-house because you don't have all the bells and whistles, but sometimes it's one of those limitations are your strengths situation.
Sure. Well, and you've got a nice setup in your home. I think a lot of artists are starting to do it that way, so you can always kind of be working and creating the next thing.
Totally. Yeah, it helps because I can pull my 2 a.m. nights when the kids are asleep and all that stuff. Although there are too many vocal tracks that have someone screaming in the background,
right.
A little one. I gotta edit all that out,
Well, and let's talk about this home studio because we got to set the record straight. For a long time, your nickname when we played your songs, we said JD Eicher is the heartthrob of Youngstown. Yeah. And everyone liked that except your wife. But you have a great Youngstown history, but in fact, a couple of years ago, you guys moved towards Columbus area, right?
Yeah, we're over in Delaware, Ohio, just north of the city there. Yeah.
And that you just got tired of Youngstown, fed up with all of that. Is that right?
Yeah, we were done. No, it was my wife's work brought us that way. But it was a bittersweet thing. It was tough to leave. I've always been a Youngstown boy, self-branded that way. I feel it, but we're doing well and liking it over there. I stubbornly kept the route, so I keep coming out here.
Oh, totally. Well, and like it's not that far away. I mean, it's not like we lost you to Nashville, which has been known to happen.
It's true. Yeah.
So, JD Eicher is here for Studio C. Let's do another song live with the trio here. Which one do you want to play next for us?
How about this one's called Kind to You. Yeah. It's a song about trying to give people the benefit of the doubt.
I've lived a little bit, I've seen a little bit, I've loved a little bit, I've lost a little bit, been hurt a little bit, known hate a little bit, and it all adds up more than a little bit. I will be kind to you. I know what I've been through. I know what I know. I will be kind to you. I don't know what you're going through, but it's more than a little bit. I've tried a little bit, I've failed a little bit, I've held my own a little bit, and run for home a little bit.
I know what I've been through. I know what I know. I will be kind to you. I don't know what you're going through, but it's more than a little bit. Oh, it ain't a free ride for anyone alive. And I don't know your story, but I know a little bit. I will be kind to you. I know what I've been through. I know what I know. I will be kind to you. I don't know what you're going through, but it's more than a little bit. I don't know what you're going through, but it's more than a little bit.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, this is another Wayside Furniture and Blind and Sons Studio C live performance here at the Summit FM. JD Eicher and the trio here with JD and Dylan and Jim doing some live songs and previewing the 20th anniversary full band tour, which once again is in Akron on Kenmore Boulevard at the Rialto this Friday. Then there is an upcoming stop in Youngstown or out in Columbiana at Birdfish as well. And then, but you're doing Chicago. Hey, and I wanted to ask, one of these tour stops is, it says it's in Osgood, Indiana, a house concert, which you've been doing a fair amount of, but then it says open to the public. So talk about that house concert experience. I think that's really interesting how that whole scene kind of works.
Yeah, I always consider it pretty brave when people open their house to the public like
Right,
that, you know?
totally.
So I do a handful of house concerts. They tend to be solo acoustic, but sometimes I'll get to bring the guys along. But there's a whole circuit of folks who, it's actually simpler than it might sound. You basically open up maybe your living room or your backyard to guests to come and listen, and the band typically will bring the sound system and any technical stuff that would be needed. And a lot of times it's just a donation, from the attendees. Sometimes the host will foot the bill, but it helps us musicians stay on the road, and sometimes it can fill dates, in between. If you're trying to get to the Midwest and you're somewhere in the Northeast, it can help along the way on the road. Or there are folks who've built their own series at their homes, and it's a great scene. It's not unlike this, where it's more intimate and stripped down and kind of storyteller style thing. And I love them. I love them because it takes away the there's like a barrier at a venue where you're kind of up there, you're in the green room, you're waiting, but you're in the house, it's a potluck. Sometimes you're talking to people right there at the potatoes, and it's nice, it's a little more real,
Do sometimes the hosts actually put you up like in a guest room and stuff too?
Yeah, and a lot of times they'll you'll just walk upstairs at the end of the night, and I stayed in a room just a couple days ago where it was all kind of decorated like Star Wars. It was somebody's kid's room, and they had graduated, but they kept the room, and I slept right against Yoda's head. It was actually delightful. It was nice.
It's really cool. Yeah. No, it's the house concert scene. It seems like there's almost a little more art to that. Like it's less about the business of music and touring and booking agents and things like that.
That's true. Yeah, you kind of bypass all of the stuff that makes it less enjoyable, and it's just people showing up. There's a musician there, and the musician gets to play the songs, and people get to hear it. Yeah. There's no ticketing fees, or there's no chaos spraying to the industry gods in the middle, which is nice. It's refreshing.
Or crazy
sometimes.
Opening bands, and you never know what you're going to get.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Thing.
This tour we're on, everyone's carefully selected.
That's right, hand selected by JD and friends. Well, and I suppose that is also very internet-driven, social media-driven. Talk about your extensive social media following and kind of what's been going on in that world on like Instagram and some of the other platforms.
Thanks for calling it extensive. I appreciate that. It's there's kind of two worlds now. You show up at the shows and you play in real life, and that feels very tangible. But you kind of have to play this game of
reach, right? Where you're constantly trying to reach new listeners and grow to some kind of viable income source maybe one day, so that you can support your bandmates full time. Don't come at me, you work toward these things. Yeah. So I've been real active on Instagram, and I do music posts, and we also have. I do a lot of stuff with my kiddos, fun stuff with my son Jack, and I've worked with Speedway, gas station convenience stores. Wonderful people over there.
Well, it's pretty amazing. You have to tell the story
of
how you got hired by Speedway, because this started. You were almost kind of joking about it.
Well, I mean, look at me. I'm obviously in the gas industry. I'm a fuel guy. I showed up to a gig not far from here in Doylestown at Bent Ladder, a wonderful cider spot. And my son was pretty young at the. I have a 4-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter. And my son was relatively new, and he's a terrible sleeper. Great kid, terrible sleeper. And I'd been exhausted for days, so I stopped at Speedway and I got one of their large cups of coffee. I like the coffee there. Okay, it's good. They have they grind it fresh, made to order. So I took my cup of coffee to the gig because I figured it would help me remember lyrics, if I was chugging coffee while I'm playing, because I can barely keep my eyes open. I'm real tired. I'm a hot mess this day. Everything's disorganized. And but throughout the whole show, I'm commenting on the cup, the flavors, the profiles of each note as I sip. And I was really kind of riding a hot hand, just talking way too much. But we had our video guy, Jack Carson, there with us, and he was filming the whole show. And then after it was over, he sent me only the in-between, only the banter, no music.
No music.
And one of these little, he called it in-between songs. It was just me running my mouth. But one of these little banter bits was just a string of all my commentary on the Speedway coffee that I had. And I thought it was fun, so I put it on the internet just on a whim. But then Speedway found it, and so they reached out and they were like, yeah, in the video, I'm jokingly, I kind of like look at Jack, our video guy, and I'm like, if anybody's connected with Speedway,
I'll
get
be
in touch,
the spokesman.
And they did. They got in touch. So, and it led to now I do their national TV commercials, and people on the West Coast are saying like, hey, I know this might be a weird question, but are you in a gas station commercial? It's crazy, but it's been great.
You just never know where the internet might take you,
Great. Yeah, there it is. That's the truth.
Has that gained you more followers for your music too?
I can pretty confidently say there's absolutely no crossover. But what it has done, I mean, it doesn't seem like a likely partnership, music and gas, but we're on the road. We're in a gas. I mean, listen, not to brag, but I know every gas station bathroom from here to, So you really, it is actually a pretty viable partnership, and they've literally kept us on the road and kept us. This record that we're working on, Speedway has helped us cover mixing engineer costs and mastering, and it's really been wonderful. They've been very kind.
I think it's also great because I think a lot of companies want to have that organic match with something real. Like maybe it's a little less about just promoting and sell nowadays. They want to attach to someone doing something creative.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to tell them not to attach to me, but I'm surprised as much as I'm as surprised as everybody. But we're rolling with it.
It's great.
They've been really nice.
Well, congrats on how that worked out.
Thanks.
That's just kind of amazing.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
JD Eicher is here for Studio C on the Summit FM, and let's play another live number here. What do you want to play next?
Yeah, this is a tune called Good Is Gonna Come Along Too. It's I think our most recently released tune. We've been putting out a song about every other month until my aforementioned studio, flooded, unfortunately, and we got waylaid by a ton of a couple months and a lot of money, and it was kind of a mess, and it was kind of in the mix of a lot of other things that have been going wrong. Our air conditioner going out, our hot water tank. It's a litany. I'm not complaining, but for context, I'm on the edge. I'm spiraling as all these things in my home are falling apart. I'm a musician, we're not making money. I mean, it gets terrifying. And so I sat down and I was just like, I need a song. Sometimes I think I'm like a guy who needs therapy, but I have a guitar instead, And I'm like, I need a song to get me out of this. And so I started just writing this stubborn tune about the idea that good comes with the bad, and if you hang on, the silver linings are there to find, And so that's kind of where this tune comes from, and it's true, and everything's fine. We're gonna be just all right, So anyway, here you go.
A light cuts at an angle through her window to her table, and it's just enough to frame her silhouette. And she leans into her elbows over papers and a cell phone, and my heart is broke as I have done the math. And I'm listening as she's whispering, how is one thing now a million? How do we get out with all this coming in? I can hear myself saying it, good is gonna come along too. Yeah, good is gonna come along too. Oh, this is messy, this is broken, this is not how we were hoping, but I'll do hell and back with you, and good is gonna come along too. I have driven quite a distance, all this pavement for a pittance. You can see the road in the ruts around my eye. All I've ever known is hustle for a thing some get for nothing. And I'm stubborn, but a clock still tells the time. And then I'm looking at our children, and then nothing's too confusing. I had lost the plot, but I'll get the ending right. I can hear myself saying it, good is gonna come along too. Yeah, good is gonna come along too. Oh, this is messy, this is broken, this is not how we were hoping, but I'll do hell and back with you, and good is gonna come along too. It's gonna come along too. And the truth is I don't know quite how anything will go. All my airtight plans have blown off with the wind. But now half my life is spent counting bright spots in the mess. And I bet the house there's some daylight left. I can hear myself saying it, good is gonna come along too. Hey, good is gonna come along too. Well, this is messy, this is broken, this is not how we were hoping, but I'll do hell and back with you, and good is gonna come along too. It's gonna come along too. It's gonna come along too.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, that's JD Eicher here in Studio C for Summit members, one of the newer songs. So, yeah, you mentioned you've been doing a new single about every month or two, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, and working towards a full album. Talk about that from the artist perspective now, because it seems like short attention spans, we're kind of back to the singles-based world a little bit, but you still have a lot to say. It seems like you want to create that full album, that full work of art.
It's true. It's kind of it's one of those things. It's sort of just surrender. You kind of have to play the game of the trickle release style now. Sometimes they call it, I think, waterfall release, where you put out one song and then the next one's that song with the one you just put out underneath it. You just keep stacking them. And that's kind of just the way it seems with all the algorithm stuff that you have to do it now. But I've always loved an album, and so I still think. I still write them thinking of the album, and hopefully the puzzle pieces all come together at the end. Yep. But it's just kind of the way it seems you got to do it now. And we've given in.
Right. Well, it's just such a strange time, for people's attention spans and the scrolling. I see you probably see that at shows too, right? Like, does that annoy you? bringing out their phones?
No, because I've caught myself like taking a photo and then checking a message. I'm like, oh no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
totally.
I try to give a little leeway, and I just think sometimes I'll think to myself, well, maybe they're looking me up online.
Yeah,
that's
what
a
it must be.
little hack to get over the distraction of that.
Yep. Well, and also always blazing the trail. JD Eicher is also an author, a fictional author. Talk about the Majesto sessions and the novel, the story that went along with it, because you've become a published book author.
Yeah, thanks. In 2022, we put out a record called the Modesto Sessions that was a companion to a novel called The Lights Along Modesto, and it's a story about these two musicians and they're on the road together, and honestly, they're unlikely tour mates and they don't really get along, and the journey kind of goes to hell. And it was very fun to write it. I've always wanted to tell like a long form story, and I had done this project with Nicholas Sparks, who's a well-known author, and he had done, The Notebook, Walk to Remember, Dear John, all these famous stories. And I'd been out on the road with him and heard about how he writes and his process, and he made it feel so doable.
Yeah. And
I had been looking for something to get out of my own skin. As you know, a songwriter, you often turn to kind of the diary approach and you write about yourself. And I'm always trying to do something a little different just to kind of shake it up. And so I had these songs that I've been writing that didn't really fit. I was saying things, but it wasn't things I would say. But I felt strongly about the characters saying them in the songs, if that makes any sense. And so I thought, well, what if I wrote a story for these songs and develop these characters in the story? So the record tells this story, and the songs those characters play on the road are the songs on the album, and they kind of inform what happens throughout the novel. And it was a really fun project to try to do, and it really got me out of my comfort zone. And I didn't even know at the time, whether we'd release the book, but actually I edited it in the final month and a half leading into the release of the record, and literally I had to rush the print job, and I told the label 2 weeks out that, oh yeah, there's a novel that goes with this, and then we just threw it all in. It was chaos, but it was really fun to try to do it, and it was a fun project.
It's pretty neat though. What did you learn about the publishing world that way? Is it similar to releasing music, or is it all different?
Yeah, well, we published it in-house along with the album. But as far as the literal printing and everything like that, it actually was. I felt it was transferable skills, because I was kind of used to what you do to have an album pressed or vinyl made. So the editing process is kind of extensive, and you have to format every page just right. And so that I outsourced to somebody who knows what they're doing. But we were able to get it done, and it was similar actually. Yeah,
it's kind of cool. Yeah, very good. Well, JD Eicher for Studio C on the Summit FM. Gentlemen, how about one more song?
Yeah, we thought we'd do this one. This is called Evergreen. I wrote this song for my parents. Starts out easier to say what you feel, then time makes emotions into onion peels. And I guess I'm getting old, but who isn't though? It's hard to love autumn when winter's in the air. Stress about Monday makes Sunday disappear. I can see it in your eyes, you're looking too far down the line. Don't you worry about dying, you're gonna live forever. Don't you worry about the living, they're gonna be alright. Is growing like a weed, you'll live forever, evergreen. That boat in the drive hasn't seen much lake. It was red when we got it, then we painted it green. And now the red is showing through. Time always tells the truth. I hear copper line playing out there on the water. The wind and the sails, my mother and my father. You ever sell that honk of John? I swear to God I'll kill you. But don't you worry about dying, you're gonna live forever. Don't you worry about the living, they're gonna be alright. Gave here
is growing like a weed. You'll live forever, evergreen. The laughter of my daughter is the heart of my father's father, and the kindness of my brother is the goodness of my mother, and the wisdom of my sisters is the sadness of the blood, because all of those before us, they knew pain and they made love. And this voice that I hear singing, it comes from more than me. It's my ancestors in chorus, and their song is legacy. And now I don't believe in magic, that's not something that I need. I believe in how you lived here, and I believe you're evergreen. Ooh. Don't you worry about dying, you're gonna live forever. Don't you worry about the living, they're gonna be alright. All the good you gave here is growing like a weed. You'll live forever, you'll live forever, evergreen. Thank you. Thanks.
Once again, that's JD Eicher,
Thank you. Thank y'all.
the full band trio with Jim and Dylan and JD. And they are performing the 20th anniversary show this Friday night out at the Rialto Theater with Jesse Rubin and also with Angie Hayes opening. Congrats, and here's to 20 more.
Thank you.
It's just great. Yeah, JD
Thank you.
Eicher, ladies and gentlemen.